Good evening. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And we all know that we want to grow and recruit and build our business. We all have to have the right mindset and do the things every single day to keep us in that proper mindset, to keep the momentum going. And most of you have actually read chapter 2 or listened to the audio. And anything that stood out that was like aha for that chapter, Shelley, since it's probably fresh.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, and I've been doing this, over the years, but I think just hearing it again, I mean, he starts off by saying, are you living in somebody else's paradigm? Like, are there things from, you know, parents, friends, whomever is around you that you're thinking, but is that what you really want? What is the world that you want? What is the income that you want? How do you want to live? Where do you want to live? And all of those aspects. And I know, that's part of the vision boards that I do and that we often talk about. But it was the big thing of just keep writing it down and keep saying it because it needs to get into the subconscious because that is what then will be manifested. So when you talk, Nada, about wanting to recruit more business partners. Is that
Mhm.
something that you're writing down that you see more people joining your team? Is that something that you write down that you see that you have a bigger team that's growing? And yeah, and then I guess the other thing was more who then are you sending it to so that that you're writing it down so that you're acknowledging it every single day so that it happens. So we say this over and over again, like we have talked about this in different trainings and just amongst ourselves. But are we actually doing it? And are we doing it consistently enough so that it gets into the subconscious and then it will actually manifest itself?
Yes, and I totally agree with you because I have asked many of times the group, are you writing your affirmations down every day? Are you reading them aloud every day, morning and night? And I have 100%.
Mhm.
No matter where I am, I have it right beside me. So when my alarm goes up or when I wake up, actually, many times before my alarm goes up, I'm just boom, I wake up, I grab my book, I put my headset on, and I listen to my daily teachings and I start writing down. So it has to, you're right, it has to be something that is automatic. If you're only doing it once in a while, I don't think it'll affect your subconscious mind. Anybody else?
You ready?
Yes.
It's a habit.
Yeah.
It's an everyday habit. I don't need to read my affirmations because they're in my head every day. As soon as I wake up, as soon as my foot doesn't get out of that bed and already my brain is going. It's already constructed, designed to live, breathe, eat, sleep, affirmations, positivity, intentions, goals, my dreams, my vivid vision, my mission, everything. If that doesn't excite you, nothing's going to excite you. If you don't get excited, if you're not excited by your dreams, then you need to dream bigger. You need to get excited. You need to think bigger, dream bigger, and get around people that think bigger, make you uncomfortable. My mentors made me so uncomfortable because they made me think bigger, dream bigger. They were like, you dream too small. Your dreams are too small. I'm like, what? They were. I was settling. I was settling. I was playing small. I was playing safe, playing comfortable,
Mhm.
play uncomfortable. And all the affirmations, all that stuff is just the first steps. It's the beginning. It's amazing. It's great to implement all that stuff and do it. Then the next step is accountability. If you
Yeah.
are not accountable, or you're not able to be accountable to yourself, because our subconscious will likes to lie,
Mhm.
then find an accountability partner. My accountability partner has always been writing my numbers. Okay, yes, you write your goals, you write your all that stuff, but without action and without knowing your target and looking at those KPIs every day, and it doesn't matter if you don't hit the number that you set. What matters is that you're sticking to the game plan. The game plan is those targets
Mhm.
and the actions to get to those targets. How many people, how many conversations did I have? Okay, you didn't have 3, you had 1. Amazing. Put it down as a win. It's a win. Better than 0. You're not consistent? Get consistent. Maybe 3 is too much. 1 conversation leads to 2, and 2 leads to 3. Step by step. And you'll see your business change night and day. You'll see your energy change night and day. You'll see everything.
It's true. The energy I have since I've been doing this more consistently is like it's the brain energy. It's crazy. It's like
It's
more
amazing.
people, yeah, and more
Amazing.
people
Look,
are
look, you're smiling like from ear to ear. Like everyone's going to be smiling. You don't even need to mention anything about the business. They'll just attract you because you're just smiling. You're different. I left a message for a friend of mine today. I sent him the link and he's like wound up, and then I sent him a voicemail. I mean, he can't make it tonight, but he's like, man, whatever this is, you're firing me up. And he's already got a primary business. This is secondary, but I just want him to see what I want the people to see what I feel and feel what I feel. That's it.
Mm. Yep. Thank you, Donato. Anybody else? Leonie.
Yep.
Oh, you were just gonna say.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Basically, I have 3 things written down now, which is starting imperfectly is a perfect start. And I remember there's a line in that audio recording. I think I mentioned this probably in the call last week, or when was it exactly? But talking about how this guy said that he couldn't read, but then somebody pointed out that he actually could read. It's just he just almost like brokenly in a sense. And it's like that was a perfect start to build on like that strength in a sense. And it's just like you again, if sometimes you get paralyzed by perfection, and then that can really be a doozy, but you got to have that kind of paradigm shift. And then one thing I've been really thinking on, again from the audio clip, but is I've been really thinking about kind of like, you know how you always say that you got to act or think of the thing right now that you want. Like let's say if you want to get something within a year, but you have to think of yourself as the person who's already doing that in this exact present moment.
Yeah.
And like it's still a little bit weird for me to kind of like wrap my head around that, not gonna lie. But I've been really trying to reflect on that this like past kind of weekend and a little bit before. Um, and it's like it kind of makes me think of also like, and again this again goes back to the whole paradigm thing, but it's like how often do we put maybe sometimes like a timeline on something that we think maybe based upon our reference points right now. Like let's say if we say it's going to take 2 years, but then if we actually like I don't know, we're gonna kind of write things down on a piece of paper and have maybe like work on your confidence, you could probably get it done maybe in like a year or like 6 months or like 8 months. And it's just like how much, um, yeah, anyways, that's pretty much on my head at the moment.
Okay.
Awesome. That's great.
All right. So mine is, it says here, I like this when it says, I dream by my painting and I paint my dream. So I dream my painting and I paint my dream. And that to me is so stark, because what you dream and you paint, and when you keep doing it, you again manifest it, right? And you constantly do it. It's in your brain, it's in your mind, and like the data says, it's like you wake up, you sleep, it's always there. And it's that the paradigm is the picture that controls your behavior, that gives you the results you want. And I think the first thing that we really, each and well, I know I do, they say is to find your purpose. What exactly gets your wheels turning? and start doing the things that, also go against your paradigm, and you form new habits, and you break the old ones. And so I think for me, like, I love a lot of things. I love people, I love talking, I love everything. Then you can love everything and love really nothing in the focus. So it's the focus of what do I really want? And I'm going to do me, right? And I think, no, not I think, I know that once I find that, I know what I want, then it attracts. You attract people, like you say, Donato, right? Everybody's saying, okay, you smile, you live it, and people will see that. People get attracted to that. People have said, oh, you're so joyful. Yeah, but it's not like a fake thing. You have to feel it, and you do feel it after a while. I mean, okay, there's so many negative things, but you can't dwell negative. And it says here, desire is the key to your ability. And if you have the desire to do it, you will have the ability. So desire is very strong, very, very strong. And then I find too that if I'm thinking of something, I have 10 million creative ideas of this. You can have 10 million and not do one. But what it is you have all these, it makes you more creative, I think. And sometimes you go outside the box. And that is kind of, for me, it's kind of, exciting, because you go, wow, this and that and the other. And my brain shoots off in so many areas. Sometimes I think, oh my goodness. So pull it in, right? But that's the exciting part of it, I think.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you. I think Oksana said she was wanted to share. Oksana?
Yeah, sure. I guess I'm going to be echoing what everyone else has been saying too, but what really stands out for me was um, just keep manifesting, putting it in your subconscious mind, and just keep manifesting on it. And I guess tapping into our faculties, using our imagination. And I think there was something that said that don't dwell on the past. We already know what's there. Don't dwell on how we can get there. Just keep wanting it and manifesting it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Great points.
Thank you. That was I think the powerful point that was across in that whole chapter. Excellent. Anything else before we hop on to Eric?
Yeah, I think it is, don't think about plan A and plan B where you know what you want and you know how to get there. It's the plan C where you have no idea how to get there, but you really, really want it, and then trust the process.
Yeah. And that, Shelley, I'm glad you said that, because that reminds me of 34 years ago. Well, I didn't understand. I just trusted the process. I was going on pure excitement and belief in the company and the products, not understanding anything. And boom, business started to grow, right? And it's interesting because the more knowledge and the more techie I became, that's when the business plateaued. It wasn't until I realized I had to make it simple and go back to that excitement and the energy and you're right, the smiling and being happy and just talking and having conversations, and that's when things started to pick up again, right? So bang on. Thank you.
There's like a good saying. It's be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and I think it ties into a lot of what we're talking about, right? Like putting yourself out there, putting yourself in situations that maybe you don't see yourself in, but like you're saying, that plan C of yourself might be in. So yeah, I think being comfortable, being uncomfortable is a huge point. Kind of ties everything together.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Good.
Just one point, one quick.
Yes.
One important point. The most important part is, how do you see yourself? You guys understand what posturing is? You understand what posturing means? Success attracts success, right? Posturing is, how do you see yourself? If you see yourself not successful, you're not where you're at yet, and you're portraying that then that could be the reason why people aren't attracted to you. You have to put yourself in the mindset and mind frame that you are here already.
Yeah.
And then you'll start walking, talking, and doesn't matter where you are. No. It doesn't matter where you are now, today. You need to live each day at where you see yourself in the future, your future self. And that's what that posturing, the people are going to be attracted to you because you're envisioning yourself as successful. You already know you have the best products there is in the marketplace. So that should allow you to posture yourself even much more. The fact that you're maybe not at the level that you want in your business yet, so what? Picture yourself at the level that you want, that you're going to be at in whatever time frame, and start walking and behaving that way. I'm already visioning we're taking over Canada, let alone Ontario. I tell everybody, this is Team Canada. Everyone on here is part of the team, but we're taking over this country. I'm not looking to compete. We're going to dominate. It's domination or nothing. That's the way I look at it. And that's my pitch to everybody I see. There is no second.
Love it.
I'll just add one thing to that, Donato. The posturing, I think we should be very mindful when we're going out, how we're dressed, being well groomed, because when you never know when you're going to meet someone, right? I always make sure my my bangs are okay. But just dress appropriate.
Dress for success.
Success. It doesn't have to be a suit or anything, but just dress. Yeah, I think we need to be aware of that. I don't think we are. So we should be conscious of that right now too. Whenever we go to a meeting as well. I remember in the olden days. I mean, in another company, they'd say you have to wear a blue suit and a puff in your a red tie. No, we don't have to do that, but we have to look at what we're wearing, right? So I think that's a good point. Posture.
It's a great point. Very great point.
Thank you, Joan.
Smile before you dial. That's what I used to tell my clients.
Yeah.
Put a smile on your face,
Because they feel it. They feel that energy through the phone without seeing your face.
Remember, people don't buy companies, they don't buy products. They're going to buy you first.
Yeah. And now we're going to have some conversation on how and what tools. And when Eric talks about tools, he doesn't know what kind of tools Neolife has, but it's how we talk to people, how we approach people, the right way to say things to the right kinds of people. Okay, so this is the next step that we're going to be watching, and then we'll see what we can get through until about 5 to 8, and then I know Donata has some guests coming on at 8. I know you guys do, so then we'll close off and head over to the health talk. So thanks so much, guys. So chapter 3 for next week. Excellent. Thank you.
Nada, with the Audible, it's sessions. So
session. Yeah.
I wasn't sure where to
Session.
jump in because I've been listening to sessions. Okay.
Session 3. Thank you.
Decision. We talked about that. Decision. Well, he changed the background, made it look nicer. Make a decision, make your list, grade the list, the little star system I encouraged you to use. Figure out what tools, how many of you have figured out what you're going to invite people to review? Put a 3 in the chat if you figured that out. Great. If you haven't, ask your upline, find out what's working inside your company, but have that thing. It's super important that you have that thing. So when you go into the invite, right? You go into the invite. You've got an end goal. In marketing, we call it a CTA, a call to action, where you ask people to do a thing. Okay? Now, there's 3 kind of general postures that you're going to use when you are prospecting, when you're talking to people, based upon your I will get you is my video the best invite? Is mine my video? I don't think so. Yeah, I wouldn't say my video would be the best invite, but find something connected. Oh, your video. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best invite, Mohammed. It might be, but find something. So long as you have something that will capture somebody's interest. Here's all you're trying to accomplish in this invite. Get somebody to review something and get enough curiosity to take the next step. I mean, I remember first time I was exposed to this business, it made no sense to me at all. You know, we put all this focus on, we need to show them our compensation plan. We need to show them this. We need to show them that. I'm just saying, yeah, but how many of you understood the compensation plan first time you saw it? Guess when you understand the compensation plan? When you get paid. And then you go, oh, that's how it works. Okay, I didn't see that coming. All right, fine. So let me walk you through 3 different ways that you're going to talk to people. This one, and this one. 3 ways. Depends on your posture or your relationship with the other person. Okay? There's direct. There's indirect. And then there's super indirect. And I want you to think about this in terms of status. Status. What kind of status do you have with this person? Okay? Now, status. If you have status with a person, they look up to you, they respect you, you can use a direct approach. Maris, I have an opportunity. I thought about you. I'd like to share it with you. I'm going to send you something. I want you to watch it. You can be direct with somebody. So if you have status with them, Petra, I know you're looking for something. I got a business. You need to take a look at it. I'm coming over. You can be super direct with somebody you have status with. You know, they would like to work with you. They respect you. They look up to you. Okay? Second is indirect. This is where you don't necessarily have status, but you have a kind of a peer-to-peer relationship. Right? You know, maybe so there's some mutual respect, but they don't necessarily look up to you. You don't necessarily look up to them, you know, and from a status standpoint, or it's unknown. And with those people, instead of direct, you're going to be indirect. You know, I have a question for you. I want to ask you this. I'm curious about this. You know, would you look at this? Would you evaluate this? Would you do me a favor? You know, would you give me your opinion? Stuff like that. And then super indirect is someone who has status on you. Can you go recruit somebody who's more powerful and more successful and has more status than you and more success in life? Of course. But you have to do it very carefully because of the status difference. Can you recruit up? Yep, you can. Here's how you recruit up. You play yourself down, you play up to their ego, and you tell them that they're not a prospect. So if I'm calling up John, I'm saying, John, listen, I've always admired your success and your business acumen and the fact that you see things other people don't see. And, you know, I think I've watched what you've done as an entrepreneur and I've always been impressed. And I've started a business and I know you're not a prospect for this business. I would never assume that. But I know you know a lot of people. I know you're an influential person. And if what I did made sense for somebody that you know, your contacts, your relationship, I can do some of the heavy lifting. If you can connect me with any of those people that are ambitious, money motivated, maybe dissatisfied with their current situation, would like to help me grow this business in this market, I can make it worth your time. I'll make it worth your while. Can you think of anybody that's looking for something fresh, new, exciting, a new project? And somebody like John will say, well, show me what you're talking about. And then I'll let you know if there's anything connects. And then what can I do? Guess what I get to do? Educate John. John gets to know what it is that I'm doing, but I'm always telling him, you're not a prospect, John. I just want you to know what it is so you can think in your mind, who do you know that might be a fit for this? I would never. Oh, you probably wouldn't even be any good at this, John. Okay? So understand, don't get hung up on too much on exact scripts. Just think in terms of status. If you have status with a person, use it. Let's go. I've got a business. You have a need. Let's go. I'm coming over. Come over to my house. Watch this video. You can be bang, 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 direct, because some of these people are waiting for an opportunity to work with you, to connect with you. 2, if you're unclear on status, just ask for advice, wisdom, insight, input, feedback, etc. One that I love is, I've got a business I'm expanding in this market, and I wonder if you could tell me if you think it'll work. If you think this product or this opportunity is viable in this state, in this region, in this country? Do you think with today's marketplace, people would find it interesting? Because I'm looking to expand and I want to expand big, right? Asking somebody for their input and their wisdom. And again, anytime you don't have status with somebody, you have to add a little language that says, I'll make it easy on you. It's not going to take a lot of your time. So you got to make it easy on somebody that, because how many of you have tons of extra time? Very few people. You're busy. You got stuff going on. We lead busy lives, and we have got a lot of people pulling at us in order to get stuff done. You know what I found out though? For busy, you want to go recruit somebody, find the busiest person you know. Because they know how to get stuff done. Find somebody who's just busy, busy, busy. Because they're the ones that are open-minded. They're the ones who are going to make a decision. They're the ones who are going to figure this thing out. They're the ones that, they're always interested. If I'm, not always, but a lot of times, a busy person ends up being your best recruit. They're just very resourceful. They'll find a way. Okay? So think in terms of status and what you're asking for. You're telling somebody to do something if it's direct. You're asking somebody to do something if it's indirect, and you're disqualifying somebody as a prospect for a super indirect. This is not for you, but I can make it worth your time. Guess what? Every entrepreneur I know, or entrepreneurial minded or business minded person I know, is interested in cash flow. They're all interested in cash flow. You know, do you know any millionaires? Probably do. Guess what every millionaire you know is interested in? Cash flow. They might not want to start a whole new business because they're busy, but they'd love to have some extra cash flow. So think in terms of that when you're approaching somebody. Now, you have a tool you're going to invite them to. You have this basic thing. And the VIP thing, we can do a little role play on this if you want, just for time. But I want to cover as much of this as I can in the general session, and then we'll continue in the VIP, okay? I promised you yesterday I was going to give you my very, very favorite. You ready for my very, very favorite approach that you can use for anybody? This is good. This is good stuff. I promise. Works in every company, in every market around the world. And again, I'm talking about recruiting a person who wants to become or who intends to build a business, not just a person who's just going to be a customer. That's pretty easy. You find a need, you have a product that meets that need. They either see it or they don't. You can have sampling programs and you can have lots of different ways to educate people. But usually it's, people are like, I need that. And so long as you're reasonably competent at helping them become a customer without too much friction, it's not too difficult. Not too many steps, not too much inconvenience, not too difficult. If we get somebody to try something, we're all willing to try stuff. Now, here it is. You ready? Question 1. You could talk to them. Hey, however you approach them. This works better for here and here. Super indirect, you're going to have to think about a slight variation. Here's the question. Write this down. Have you ever started your own business? Have you ever started your own business? I'm just curious. Have you? Have you ever started your own business? And if you feel like role playing with me, put it into the chat. Answer me and we'll have a conversation in the chat. Have you ever started your own business? Hafiz says, I tried, but not successful. Why? Why weren't you successful? I'm curious. What happened? What happened? So here's what you're going to get a lot of. If somebody says yes, well, let's say nobody, let me go through all the answers, okay? All the answers. If I ask that question, you're going to get, no, I haven't. I haven't started my own business. Then, why not? Why not? And what are you going to get to that answer? I didn't have the money. I don't like selling. I didn't have the time. It was too risky. I didn't have a good idea. I was good at doing a piece of it, but not necessarily managing it. I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to take care of my family. The risk was just too high. I don't know what I would do. Right? So, if they give you your answer, why not? Oh, there has to be a reason. So no, it's just, some of them it just never came to mind. Really? You never thought about working for yourself? Interesting. Why not? You like working for other people? Or you just, and get to the answer. And then once they give you the answer, what can you do with that answer? If there was a way that you could start a business without all those things that you're scared about. What if there was support involved in order to be able to start this business? What if there wasn't a huge investment? What if you could build it in the flexibility of your life? What if the products were already taken care of and shipped for you? What if it was all direct? What if there was training included? What if all these different things, all the regulations and rules and all that stuff was handled for you? What if you didn't have to deal with employees? What if you didn't have to sign a lease or get some sort of real estate? What if all that stuff was taken care of? Right? If blank, would you? So if all the stuff that they said that was negative, the reason why they didn't, then I could say, would you want to take a look? Would you want to know more about it? Yes or no? What are you going to get a lot of? Sure, why not? And then what are you going to do? You have the script I gave you yesterday. I've got this video that explains, it gives you a little overview, a little bit faster and easier than I can do this over the phone. If I sent it to you, would you watch it? When do you think you'd see it for sure? So if I contact you after that, you'll see it for sure, right? All right, what's the best way for me to contact you? I'll talk to you then. I got it in my calendar. I'll reach out to you then. And if you watch it before that, feel free to send me a text message or whatever and let me know that you saw it. Okay? And don't let me finish this Zoom without giving you how to close a very specific, rigid process on how to close somebody after they've seen an exposure, how to start the enrollment process. Okay? Now, if they say no, that's your flow. If they say yes, yes. Have you ever started your own business? Yes. How did it go? Or how's it going? You're going to get one of two answers, right? If they say yes, you're going to get a couple different answers. It's tough. And let me give you a little tip. If they say they started a business and they have their own business right now, this is a psychological trigger that you should consider. Anytime they say, I have my own business right now, the next words out of your mouth should be, I bet you love it. I bet you love it. Human beings have this unique emotional need to correct the record. So if you tell them, I bet you just love it. I bet it's amazing. I bet it's spectacular. I bet it's awesome. They're going to go, well, yeah, it's not what everybody says it is. I'm telling you that much right now. I'm probably the lowest paid person in my whole company. I take all the risk. Everybody else gets paid. And if there's anything left at the end, then I get some. Some days I wonder if this was the right decision. I mean, not everybody's willing to take the risk I was willing to take. And, the economy, all this stuff going on, it's like, hey. Okay, if you say, I bet you hate it, they'll correct the record the other way. So understand this. This is important. Bet you love it. And if they say, well, not so amazing. Why not? Why not? Why isn't it amazing? I didn't think I was going to have to babysit so many employees. I didn't think there's so much risk. It takes so long to get a return on my investment. I mean, I got to deal with supply chain. I got to deal with accounting. I got to deal with all these different things. I got to deal with everything. It's just like so much stuff. Some days I feel like I don't own a business. The business owns me. Right? That's one kind of response, yeah? Now, if they give you that response, here's my answer. My answer is, look, first of all, I commend you for taking a step. Most people are not willing to take the risk of being an entrepreneur. Most people are not willing to take the risk of starting something on their own. Financial risk, time risk, reputation risk, all the other things. You're a unique person. And you should be proud of the fact that you took a step to try and make something big for your family. And a lot of businesses don't work out, The United States average is $55,000 for a traditional small business. Startup costs. The costs don't end there. They just begin there. That's how much to get it going. Then they got the monthly burn, right? And 50% of those fail in the first 12 months. The fact that you have a business, you're still going, you are one of the special people. But let me ask you a question. What if there was a way that you could be in business, even have the business that you have right now, if there was a way for you to be able to get more scale, less in terms of investment, more ability to grow, more cash flow, less hassle, less risk, less stress, and maybe even surpass your existing business right now and give you an easier lifestyle. If that was possible, would you be interested in learning more about it? Because I think it is. I'm looking for entrepreneurial people. You already proved that you're an entrepreneurial type person. So I got this video. When can you see it for sure? Right? Go through the whole thing. Now, if they say yes, and it didn't work out for me. Sorry. That had to be painful. That had to be hard. But here's what I know about somebody who started something once. They're going to start something again. They're not done. You got it in your blood. You're an entrepreneurial person in your nature. I get it, right? So look, why didn't it work out? Answer. Then what? What if there was a way that you could start another business and be able to build it without all the restrictions that you were dealing with before, all the challenges and the headwind that you were dealing with before? Someone might say, yeah, I still owe money to my family and friends. I still owe money on my credit cards. This is a painful thing for me. I just need a job. How long is it going to take for the job to be able to pay that back? What if you could start a business in the little 15 minutes at a time in between the other things that you're doing that could create additional cash flow that would pay those people back and make you feel good? Is that something you'd want to explore? You already have the right stuff. You just didn't have the right idea. So if I could show you that, would you be willing to look at it? Right? I got an answer. No matter what they say. Let's say, here's another one. Let's say I'm talking with John again. Hi, John. I'm picking on John. So I'm talking with John and say, have you ever started your own business? He says, yeah, I have one right now. I bet it's going great. And he said, actually, it's going pretty good. Wonderful. How many locations do you have, John? I'm curious. Oh, I just have the one. Why? Why would you only have one if it's going good? Well, I'm only one guy. I got to run this thing. I got to make sure everybody's doing their stuff. I got to watch the kids at the office. I got to, one's a lot. I got things going on. I say, yeah, but if it's good, wouldn't you want to have more? Because if it worked great and you could have 10, wouldn't that create more leverage, more income, more lifestyle? You could utilize your talents a little bit better. Yeah, I just can't see how I would do that because of, all the different obvious headwind. Then I could say to John, what if there was a way that you could have multiple locations? You could have real leverage. Instead of just being self-employed, you got that one business, you're trading time for money at a higher level. At least you're calling your own shots. What if there was a way that other people were involved in your business? They were succeeding and you were succeeding as a result of helping them. Would you want to have that leverage if it was possible? Yeah, I'd want that leverage. All right, great. If I could show you, take a look. Yeah, I'd take a look. Great. Some of you say, well, what if they say no to no time to manage two businesses? Like, look, every entrepreneur is interested in cash flow. Everyone. What if one was much easier to manage than the other? What if one took way less stress in order to be able to grow? Instead of you have one location, instead of adding another location with huge risk and stress, you added another revenue stream to your entrepreneurial future without that stress. So if they say it's going great, how many locations? Let's say you talk to somebody. I talked to Fox Thornton. Hi, Fox. How you doing? Good to see you. If I say to Fox, it's like, hey, have you ever gone into business for yourself? He said, yeah, I have. I said, I bet it's going great. He said, you know what? It actually is. Unbelievable. How many locations do you have? He says, I have 10. Wow. Amazing. You're like in the rare air there. It must be really, really going well. Let me ask you a question. How many states are you in? Well, I'm just in the one. Why? If it's going so good, why aren't you in more states? Doesn't make any sense to me. Well, now it's long distance. I got to travel. I got to oversee. I've got them within a drive right now. And if they say, I've got it in multiple states, wonderful. How many countries? How many countries are you in? Well, I'm only in the one. What are you talking about? If there was a way to be able to do it and to create real leverage that's less and less dependent on you and more dependent on a system, that other independent people you could place in other places where they don't have a big startup cost either, would you be willing to learn more? Yeah. So what if they say, I just started a new business? That person might be in the 12 to 3 clock dial. Did I show everybody the clock dial, or did I just show the VIPs? Just VIPs? Let me show you the clock dial. I will show everybody the clock dial. Some people are not a good prospect right at the moment. Okay? Here's the clock dial. Throw that up. So from 12 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, everything's going great. Everything's going amazing. Let's say it's a person who just started their business. They're focused on that business. They just invested their $55,000. They've loaded up on family and friends and loans and banks and credit cards and everything else to get it started. They're super excited. They don't have any mental bandwidth for something different. Not a good prospect. Between 12 and 3, something changed. Something changed, but only they know. Their supplier changed. Their top salesperson gave notice that they're quitting. The competitor moved in right next door, started to poach customers, whatever. Something happened. And actually only they know about it. And during 12 to 3, they're actually a closed prospect, because what they're trying to do is fix the problem. So they're heavily invested, they're newly invested, and they're trying to fix the problem. So they're not really open to other opportunities at the moment because they're trying to fix the problem that just happened. That ever happened to you? Things are moving along and something happened? You're not open to looking at anything else right now. You are solve the problem mode. From 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, something's changed, and now other people know. People in the office are worried, and people working for your company are worried, and you're a little bit more worried. Things are happening. The competitor actually opened up, and they're passing out flyers in front of your door. All kinds of weird stuff can happen. Or there's tariffs, or there's supply chain disruption, or the manufacturer that you use just went out of business and other people heard about it. You're trying to find a new manufacturer. This person is actually very closed. They have no time to look at something fresh and new. They're very closed. They're not a good prospect at that moment. But between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock, here's what happens. The person goes from closed to very closed. Something's changed now. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. So let's say you work for a company and, you just got the job and you're trying to move up the ladder or whatever. You're not necessarily a great prospect in that moment because you're excited and it's fresh and it's new. But then, people start being mean to you or whatever. There's politics in the environment. You're trying to fix that problem. Somebody's trying to sabotage you in the office. And then from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, they start laying people off. From 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, everybody knows the company's in trouble. You're like, guess what? You go from very close to open. Because now the person's like, I need to start thinking about something. Because the trend here is not good. They fought the fight. They've done the stuff. Now they're open. And between 9 o'clock and midnight, this is crisis. I just got laid off. My business is struggling. My supply chain is gone. My salespeople quit. I don't have any runway. I need a plan B. And these people are extremely open. Same prospect will go through all 4 of these, sometimes in 1 calendar year. This is why it's so important to stay in touch with somebody. Because you could talk to somebody and they're closed or very closed. You talk to them in a month and they're open or very open. Isn't that interesting? Same person. So that's why you need to stay in touch. That's why you need to find out what's going on, etc. So understand this clock dial is important to know that if somebody has got something going on, they might not be a great prospect today, but stay in great relationship. So if their situation changes, they're not going to remember you, but you need to stay. Oh, sometimes they will, but you just need to stay in contact, find out what's going on. Okay. Lydia said it took her 6 months. Yeah, that's normal. So, back to this question: no, yes, escalations of yes, escalations of no. No matter what happens, I have a response. Why not? Why is this happening? Tell me more. I need to learn. What's going on? What's causing you to do this? What's stressing you out? These types of questions. If you act more like a consultant than you do a recruiter, you're going to have much bigger success. Have any of you ever worked as a consultant? Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever worked as a consultant. Any of you? All right. What do consultants do? If they sit down with a client, what do they do? And to order to serve that client, what do they have to do? They have to ask a lot of questions. Because if they don't ask the questions, they don't know how to help. And that's what I want you to get to in your mind, is ask questions so you can know how to help. Needs assessment. Yeah, that's exactly. Go through a needs, those are fancy words for asking questions. Go through a needs assessment of your prospect to find out what they need. And then listen, and then write it down.
Okay, guys, I'm going to skip through the questions.
Take a picture of this.
Okay, and I want you to.
What'd you like best? Scale of 1 to 10, where are you? Hypothetically, how much would you need to earn per month on a part-time basis in order to make this worth your time? Everybody has a number that's worth their time. Everybody. And if they say, I'm not interested, I understand, just hypothetically, if you were interested, if you did decide to do it, how much would you need to earn in order to make this worth your time? There has to be a number. Everybody has a number. All right, fine, $3,000. Cool. Question 4, realistically, how many hours a week could you commit to building that type of income? How many hours a week? For $3,000 a month? 10 hours. All right. Question 5, how many months would you be willing to work those 10 hours a week while you're building up to a $3,000 monthly income? How long would you give it? Because it's not going to happen in month 1. Yeah, 6 months. 9 months. Something. And then you just ask the question. And you put it all together. Their answers. If I could show you a way to earn $3,000 a month, working 10 hours a week over the course of the next 9 months, I could show you a roadmap. I could introduce you to people who've done it. You could understand what would be required, and you felt like you could do it. If I could show you that, would you be willing to at least take the next step? Learn more about the product, learn more about the compensation plan, meet some of the people, whatever. Okay? It's very difficult. If you use these 6 questions, you should be able to see the questions, Bukola, on the 6-question enrollment process on the screen. Take a screenshot, whatever you got to do to be able to see that. Okay? These work everywhere in the world, every country in the world, every company in the world, every culture in the world. You are a professional when you do these 6 things. So if I talk to somebody and say, what do you like best? I like the product. All right, fantastic. let me talk about the business for a second. Just to give me a little framework on a scale of 1 to 10, 10, you're ready to start as a business person. 1, you have no interest. Where would you put yourself? I'm a 1. Okay. Not very interested in the business then. I get it. Let me ask you this. Hypothetically, let's assume you were interested in the business. I'm not saying you are, but let's assume you were. How much would you need to earn per month in order to make this worth your time? Part-time basis. Well, I'm just interested in the product. I get it, but I'm just curious. Play with me for a second. Hypothetically, just between us. And these words are really, really important. Hypothetically, just between us. I'm not holding you to anything. Just for discussion purposes. Give me an idea. And we're going to go about 10 minutes over the past of the hour, or the top of the hour, so 10 more minutes or so. And then we'll take a quick break and come in back for VIP. So, how much? I don't know. If you did know, how much? What would be worth your time? $2,000 a month. Fantastic. Realistically, how many hours a week could you commit to building that type of income? 7 hours. Okay? 7 hours for
So guys, I think the whole point is asking the questions, finding out what they want, but don't be afraid to start talking about the business. Right? If you want to grow a bigger business, yes, product are easy to talk about, but we want to get more leaders and dreamers on this team in order for Kendra's goal to be top 10 in 10. Right? And we need to move. So don't be afraid to talk about the business because we have something great to offer. Okay. So I'm going to stop the recording. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight.